Welcome to Pegasus Auto Racing. I'm Zach Moore on Techline. Today we're going to be talking about the various AN hose and fittings that we sell here at Pegasus. It's important to note that there are 6, at least 6 different hoses that we sell, all of which use some form of different kind of hose end. Some of them do use the same as another one, but for the most part, you do have very specific hose ends that need to get used with different hoses. That's why we're going to go through this today for you. To start off with, this is our typical 3471 fitting. This particular one is a 3471-16-90. It's a 90 degree -16 AN hose end. What makes it a hose end is you actually assemble this by putting an AN hose directly on to the hose end, and this actually crimps down on the hose. This is a reusable style fitting, not a permanently crimped fitting. We do make custom hoses that are a permanent crimp fitting, but for these different fittings today that we're showing you, they're all going to be reusable threaded hose ends. These are stuff that you can do at your garage, in your shop, by yourself. You don't need any fancy hydraulics. All you need is a vise and some wrenches and a cutoff tool. Now, the things that are important to note is color. That's actually pretty easy. We have black or a traditional blue and red. Blue and red would be our 3271 or 3288s. This will be our 3471 part number. Typically, the black counterparts of a lot of the fittings that we sell is just a 4 in place of a 2 in our normal part number. Now, as far as which hoses use which fittings, that's where it comes down to the little stuff. The 810 and 911 hoses actually use a very different fitting. If you notice, this doesn't get threaded at all. And on the inside of this fitting isn't any barbs or anything that would help to catch the hose other than a little bit of a lip on the inside. It's pretty easy assembly. All you do is you slide this onto the hose and then this threads into the hose. It's actually the same process that a standard threaded reusable fitting would be, but since the hose is a different type, you have to use a different fitting. Like I said, this doesn't have any threads, so you aren't threading this piece into this piece like you traditionally would be. So sometimes it's pretty often that people call and they've never used one of these, they've never done these, they're very used to these, they get these and it seems like it's the wrong fitting. It's not. It's just a different fitting that has a different process. The other fitting that we offer is a push lock fitting. This would be used for hoses like textile hose, fuel hose, rubber hose, anything that's not a traditional AN style hose would use a push lock fitting. The typical hoses, like the stainless and the aramid AN style hoses, are not designed to be used with a push lock fitting. It won't seal. You can't really clamp down on it correctly. It's gonna leak. It's just not what it's designed for. So those are the intricacies of most of the fittings. The one thing that I didn't gloss on that normally I would is our PTFE lined hose. The reason I didn't gloss onto this as much is we only offer this in -2 through -8. It's typically used for power steering lines, brake lines, fuel lines, but small fuel lines, you know, -6, -8, traditional sizes, I suppose you could say, clutch lines like that. The reason that this is a different style PTFE lined hose and it uses different fittings is it has a very solid liner in it. It's not like a corrugated liner like our traditional 811 and 910 hose uses. This uses an olive on it, a little brass sleeve that actually threads or sits in between the braided hose and the Teflon liner, and then the two pieces thread onto one another. It's very basic, very similar style to the rest of these. It just has an additional piece. Other than that, that's pretty much all the basics of most of our standard AN hose end fittings. We will be glossing on to our hoses and the different intricacies of the different hoses that we sell in our next video.